What is up, guys? This is Mega Chief in here, and I'm here with...
Me, Jack Ball, yet again.
And today we're going to start a new thing. We're going to do a podcast. And, I don't know what it's going to be called so we're just going to name it the podcast for now. So, we're just going to talk about recent books that we have read. And, quick channel update, few seconds. The reviews are pretty much going to be put into this podcast. This podcast, I'm really excited for this new project, so we're just going to, I'm just going to put my old reviews into this podcast. So, haul videos will be still the same. There may be a few reviews here and there, but most of the reviews will be put into the podcast. So, anyway, that's all I have to say. Jack, would you like to get started?
Sure thing, yeah. Sure thing. Pretty much, to start us out with, there is back in the 90s, there was a major crossover event that included all the members of the DC Universe. This actually tied up some loose ends that happened during Crisis on Infinite Earths back in '85. Pretty much, Dan Jurgens, the writer of this series, actually titled it, appropriately, 0 Hour. The end of today, Crisis in Time. Crisis in Time. The whole major plot is that now a whole infinity of antimatter has been traveling backwards through time, from the future down to the present, all the way to the past, which in the process is not only eliminating all of space and time and space and all reality, but also, unfortunately, has been causing alternate realities and timelines, such as timelines that intersect with modern continuity, such as 1940, such as Alfred from the Golden Age ending up in modern day Gotham, a Batgirl from a different alternate meeting up with Batman and Robin, who is Tim Drake, of course. It's time. Then also, another strange things have been happening, such as the modern Superboy ending up being the Superboy of the past, who was, of course, Superman, who was just a teenager that entered the Smallville, and so were major events. In the end, it is found that the major villain behind this whole thing is dun dun dun. And warning, spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, and before you say that, Jack, I'm sorry to interrupt. Spoiler alert for anything and everything. So if you want to say some spoilers, just go ahead.
Sure thing. The main villain of the series is first thought to be I can't remember his name, but I can't remember his name exactly, but he pretty much is a resurrection of several different characters. The Hawk's persona, who has gone rogue, the original Hawk's persona, Hector Hall, who has gone completely rogue, or something like that, has gone completely rogue, and was always destroying all of eternity. However, the main villain, he was just a pawn. The main villain is none other than the original Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, who unfortunately has been affected by the entity Parallax. As a result, Jordan went rogue, destroying all of the Green Lantern Corps, and stealing their rings, and thereby increasing his willpower to enormous levels, but at the same time, at the cost of his sanity. But at the same time, reducing his sanity to have a madman. In the end, all of continuity has been wiped out, but while Jordan has gathered all these characters, several characters together, and is actually starting to reform the entire universe, or multiverse in this case, frankly. Take your pick. Take your pick. Several characters are actually able to escape the catastrophe. I can't remember exactly how, but they still are able to escape the wave of anti-matter and survive in blank space. Eventually, like in all superhero stories, they're able to defeat the bad guy, but at a cost. Green Arrow, Hal Jordan's former friend and ally, is forced to actually kill his own friend.
That is epic. I know that's one of the most overused words of the internet, but that's just pure epic.
Yep. Frankly, this is just another way to actually tie. There's not. Well, never. Sorry, I seem to be starting a little bit. Anyway, afterwards, after the event, DC relaunched a new actually tied up all the loose ends of Crisis on Infinite Earths, but also reintegrated some original parts from from several characters' origin stories back into the mainstream, such as the original 1940s Batmobile eventually got back into Batman's saga. Turns out that Bruce Wayne that discovered the Batcave frankly,
After he became Batman.
until he became almost before he became Batman, but not until he adopted the costume.
Mm.
And all Frank Miller's work on Year One still exists in this continuing and all.
That's
And still a lot has really been changed.
I like how the Zero issue is just like blank.
Because this actually symbolizes that this is a new beginning for both the DC universe, but also not only the main DC universe, but also alternate realities, everything else as a whole.
Yeah, and isn't this the first blank cover?
Yes, this is the very last issue of the series because it counted down from number 4 to number 0 at 5 issues in total.
Yeah, I have not read this series, but I've heard it's fantastic from Jack, so yeah, I'm really excited to read it because don't you have all the issues, or at least you have most of the issues?
Yes, I have not gone to number 4, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
And the good news is for any fans who can't really navigate this new continuity, there actually is special added edition. Ta-da! A full timeline previewing the whole, showing all the events that happened in the main DCU in the aftermath of Zero Hour, but also
That is amazing.
else.
Oh, there's more on
Covering everything up till 1995. Well, minus era.
That is great.
And also the future.
So, is that it for 0 Hour?
Not exactly. So, well, almost, pretty much. Several their heroes also got... Here's what happens at several major events that happened at 0 Hour are... several members of the original Justice Society of America die. Hourman, Adam, and Dr. Midnight. Impulse, the grandson of Barry Allen, rise to the future. A new Manhunter has arrived, and the Jack Knight Starman appears for the very first time before getting his own monthly tile. That's pretty much it for 0 Hour.
Alright, and you have one more book here with you, and then I'm gonna get to my fat stack of books.
I know.
You should see my stack. My stack is ginormous.
Anyway, your series I want to talk about is one that my friend is a little bit wary about because it's written by Jonathan Hickman, a writer he despises.
I hate Jonathan Hickman, which you guys will be talking about, which I'll be discussing with East of West in a little bit. Oh yeah, my first book is East of West, by the way. But you go ahead.
By the way, if you don't, I do have a question. There is a big announcement too. If you're allowed to write whatever you want in the comments section, as long as it does not account for hateful or prejudiced views.
Yeah, so if you want to put like spoilers, go ahead.
For all we care, it's free speech, but as long as it doesn't include hateful messages. Anyway, back to our show. This right here is Shield, which actually goes further in depth to the organization of Shield. In Marvel Comics continuing, Shield didn't come about until the 1950s. However, major revelation. Turns out it was the original organization was known as the Brotherhood of the Shield, and it goes back all the way before the time of Christ. They have actually encountered the Brood in ancient Egypt. You should know that the Brood is an alien race that I'm sure many comics fans have encountered during Chris Claremont's run of X-Men. But also encountered Celestial in first century China and destroyed and able to stop Galactus the first time he came to Earth in the 16th century. Which is the main reason they explain for the adoption of the Gregorian calendar in 1044 or so. I don't know, or 1740, 1544, I think, or I really don't know. Yeah. However, by 1950s, the same time as the original Shield is about to get, as the Shield we know and love is about to get underway, things have started to change. change. The Brotherhood is starting to split into two factions, one led by Isaac Newton and one led by Leonardo da Vinci, both with different trains of thought. One believes that mankind is on a path to destruction, and as such their knowledge must come to a complete halt. The other says that man's knowledge is limitless. Imagination potential are no bounds, are endless. As such, these factions eventually go to war, all under the close watch of the main villain, the Night Machine. Night Machine, a mysterious character we have no clue. We do not know his true identity. If you want to know if you're looking for the true identity, then I'm not going to spoil it. Trust me.
So that is the good spoiler we're not going to spoil.
Yes, exactly. Pretty much. I know you're all thinking, why are all these famous figures throughout history still alive? There's only one. Pretty much, they've already discovered immortality too. And Leonardo da Vinci actually has been able to break time and space.
Oh, I love this art style. Take a look. It's really good.
And also the series actually explains the strange disappearances of Howard Stark, the father of Tony Stark, Iron Man, and Nathaniel Richards, the son of Reed Richards, who is also known as Fantastic Four, the leader of who's also known as Mr. Fantastic, the leader of Fantastic Four.
Yeah, so I have not read this book as well, but I really, like Jack said, I'm worried about it. The art looks great, the concept looks great, but I just don't trust Hickman.
Yeah, so the story is a little bit convoluted, but it kind of takes an intellectual to actually understand it. But sorry for you commoners out there, but still, anybody with a decent sized brain, should at least get the whole idea, the whole gist of it.
Alright, so now onto my fat stack of books. The only reason why I'm showing this is that I'm done. East of West Volume 4 was pure garbage. I just want to say that right now. And I was worried that the series was bad because this volume was bad, so I reread Volume 1. My worst fears came true. This series is just not that good. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for people saying, "Oh, Graham, it's amazing. What are you talking about?" But I just don't like this book anymore. The last time I read it was before the new year, and my taste has dramatically changed since then. And now, when I read this, I just saw cliche after cliche after cliche. Like, they brought a origin story here, and it was the most cliched story you could ever think of. They threw all the cliches of a backstory in this book to one of the characters. And the few characters that were likable were sidetracked to boring, bland, and forgettable characters. So, yeah, not only am I done with East of West, but I'm done with Jonathan Hickman. I'm staying away with any book that he has his name slapped on it. That includes S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm sorry, but I'm not reading S.H.I.E.L.D. But Jonathan Hickman, I'm done with him.
I agree. I'm kind of done with all the continuing wrap-ups that have been going on recently. Jonathan Hickman has written Secret War, which I am not happy with because now Michael Morales, Ultimate Spider-Man, has now ended up in the main Marvel continuity, which I really don't get. Why would you? I know Miles Morales is unique, but keep him in the Ultimate Marvel universe.
That's what made him unique.
He was a new Spider-Man. He was that universe's Spider-Man. Spider-Man and a series Spider-Man, which actually was a team up between Peter Parker, the main Marvel continuity, and Miles Morales of Ultimate Marvel continuity, actually met up at the very first time, and as such, were able to learn about each other's history in those different timelines, but also as a result form a close bond.
Yeah, so that's pretty much all I have to say about East of West. Done with the series, done with the writer. The art is still great, but other than that, it was bad. It was bad, and I really should have read it a long time ago just to get a picture.
Just like a peach that's mealy, you have to wait until the storyline's ripe, unfortunately.
Now on to a good Image series, Lazarus. This is written by Greg Rucka, and I don't know Hold on, let me just see who the artist is. I don't remember. All right, Michael Lark. This series has been phenomenal. This is phenomenal. It's pretty much like a rich society looking down on a corrupt humanity that they legitimately rule over. It's like it's like the corruption, and the leading group is known as the family, and we follow a member of that family, and it's just fantastic. I don't know how to describe it. I haven't read it in a long time, but I'm going to reread these 2 volumes soon. It is fantastic. But all I remember is it being fantastic. I barely remember a single character's name, sadly. Because fun fact about me, I'm terrible with names. Or at least names with fiction.
And here's a fact about Image. I'm guessing you don't know. The reason is Image is so bare to most comic book companies is that they actually give, besides the fact that they give the creators their own creators' rights to the different characters and different stories and franchises and all, they still have there is one major flaw. They actually have so much output material that they don't care, frankly, what goes on the shelves. As long as they're going to eventually hit a rich stream of gold. In this case, what they did in 2003, Invincible and The Walking Dead by Robert Kirkman. Kirkman, they don't care, frankly, what goes on the stands, as long as they get something good out of it.
Yeah, but that's just also good as well. We get more good books.
Mm-hmm.
Like, legitimately, if you're going into Image with the investment value, don't. Unless if you're going to go for Walking Dead #1 or Saga #1, don't even think about investment when going to Image. Just buy it to read a good story. That's pretty much what I love about Image. You just buy it to read a good story.
Frankly, it's a very dangerous idea to actually look for a new Saga #1 or a new Walking Dead #1 because just because there are lucrative movie and TV tie-ins for different comic book series that eventually evolve the movies, we didn't even know were based on comic books, i.e. Men in Black or Kingsman: The Secret Service. You're gonna have.
Wait, Men in Black was a comic?
Yep, by Malibu. It was a comic book series by Malibu.
I just found out about this! What?
And here's another thing. When Kingsman: The Secret Service is published by Icon, an imprint of Marvel.
Yeah, I knew that, but Men in Black!
I know, and there actually is a big difference in the comic book series, too. In the Men in Black comic series, they actually deal with not only aliens, but also werewolves, vampires, and all sorts of explained and different phenomena.
Alright, back to Lazarus, if you want to say anything else, though.
Yes, I will say this. Lazarus, I have not read Lazarus yet, but just previewing it right now, I can tell the artwork is very good. Almost photorealistic, but still, it's a work of beauty. It's a work of beauty. Beauty actually
Here's a volume 2.
actually shows how much good it is. Actually shows how good our comics art has gone in the past few years. Originally, very fine brush strokes couldn't actually be put on comics. That will change with Frank Miller's Ronin. He's able to actually do very good artwork and to put it all on heavy duty paper stock.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm just really been happy with this book, and I can't wait to reread these next 2 volumes and read for the first time the 3rd volume that just came out. Really happy with this series. I recommend it.
Yep. And our next bit is a classic among comics fans. Neil Gaiman's The Sandman.
But this is not a Sandman main story. Some people call this like volume 11, but I don't really call that. But it's a spinoff. It's like tales of characters before like that occurred during the series that wasn't in the actual series.
Pretty much subplots in a sense.
And if you guys know me, and if you're not new to my channel, you know that Sandman is my favorite comic book ever. I love it.
I love it too. I've read the first 2 volumes, and I do know that the Sandman was the birth for the Berker line, but also it exposed comic books to the main public. And besides that series, besides the Sandman, if you go back even earlier, 1986, with Watchmen, Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, and also our books. Comic books have actually grown up at that stage, became more mature. They actually became much more important.
Yeah, but this Sandman and Endless Nights was fantastic. I really, really was happy with this book, and I can't wait to read the other Neil Gaiman spin-off with Sandman.
Yeah, it's the Sandman Overture, is that it?
Yeah, Sandman Overture. I have not read Dream Hunters yet. I haven't read the series that he did with Death.
Yes,
Yeah, I
yeah.
did not.
Endless Nights, I think it was...
Endless Nights is this.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. It was Death. Yeah, it was Death, The High Cost of Living.
Yeah, but this is the only Sandman book I've read other than the main series, and it's been fantastic. I'm really only going to stick with the ones by Neil Gaiman because really, that's like a guarantee for success and just great storytelling.
Anyway, our next book is something right out of New 52, the Justice League, no, Volume 2 from
That's
Atlantis.
Volume 3, actually.
Volume 3. But recently, this actually became a DC animated movie,
Yeah, I'm Throne of Atlantis.
which re-explains the origin of Aquaman and how Arthur Curry has now finds out his heritage as the next heir of the Atlantean throne, and how this is going to actually impact the entire world at large. And this is a world that's still reeling after the near attack by Darkseid and the emergence of all these superheroes.
And Jeff Johns is writing the book. He's fantastic. Jim Lee was on this book, but as of this volume, he left.
Yeah, well, the reason is Jim Lee now has art duties. He's one of the main creative officers at DC Comics now. After more than 20 years in the comics industry, he was one of the main, as many comics fans know already. He was one of the main founders, or at least an add-on to Image Comics. Then back in the early '90s, his work on X-Men before that time was phenomenal. Then in early 2000s, he worked on Batman Hush and Civil Wars.
It's so bent.
That's the reason with library copies.
Yeah, the library. But the library's still great.
Yes.
But you get one of these once in a while. I don't think you guys can see this, but yeah, it's better. But, who cares? It's a library copy. And the guy they got to replace it, I'll be honest, he's not the greatest. It's Ivan Reis. I think he's just way too realistic. I like where people try to go down the middle between realistic and abrealistic. Or unrealistic. I don't know why I was talking about abrealistic. But I like it when they go down the middle, like Mike Mignola, Jeff Lemire. But this is just way too realistic for my taste. I don't know. And also the faces are just boxy.
Good. And also, for all you comics fans out there, I've also new stuff has actually come out. Comic-Con 2015 from San Diego. Two new movie trailers: Batman vs Superman. This one features the first main looks at Wonder Woman, and also the new Lex Luthor, who is just a teenager at this point. And also, number 2 is Suicide
Squad. The trailer was amazing. I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna hurt you. Really, really bad.
That's the Joker for you. And besides the Joker, we've also got some new characters. Killer Croc's first appearance on live action film.
Mm-hmm.
Harley Quinn, Deadshot, played by Will Smith. Will Smith used to be a good actor. He was good at Men in Black and all. And Frank, even though he has not been doing good, I will give an exception. Yeah, they did take a very good leap by actually putting a black actor into a superhero into Deadshot's shoes.
All right, is that all I have to say?
Yep.
All right, next the last 3 books I'm going to talk about are legitimately just like I haven't read them yet. I've read all these books so far, but I have not read these 3. The first one is Global Frequency by Warren Ellis.
Yeah, Warren Ellis is a very good character, very good writer. I love him. I love this work on Planetary. And believe it or not, he also was one of the first of the new wave of British writers back in the 1980s.
Yeah, and everybody keeps saying that, oh, Grim, you don't like Warren Ellis because you don't like Transmetropolitan. Transmet is like the greatest comic series of all time. Like, it's not, but Warren Ellis is such a great writer with everything else. I don't know what was up with him with Transmet, because his writing style, everything else I've read from him has been amazing. His Moon Knight run has been amazing. Planetary has been amazing. And this, from the looks of it, looks fantastic. I'm hopping into this book blind. All I know is that it's by Vertigo and it's by Warren Ellis.
The thing is, Metropolitan it's a good book. The premise is perfect. A futuristic society that's still somewhere stuck somewhere in the past. The past. The city is rotting out from underneath its supports and all. And Spy Jerusalem, the main character in this whole series, an investigative news reporter and journalist in his own right, is very quirky. He is very quirky, very crazy, but instantly likable. As a character, the characters in the book are very good. You can almost relate to them in one way or another. But the plot themselves, I get that the plot is a little bit sketchy. It's a little bit mature, and at the same time, too much of a leap for an intellectual and all.
Yeah, I think it's heavily pretentious and just full of itself. If you guys want to see my full thoughts on Transmet, you should check out my review of it. But other than that, Warren Ellis has been a fantastic writer, and from the looks of it, it's going to be great. And also, before I go on to the next book, I love this art. I know this is what I'm talking about. It's not that realistic, but it's more on the realistic side, but it more goes down the middle.
Yes.
And I love the art style, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to love this book. And it's a long book as well. The pages it looks a lot shorter than it actually is because the pages are really thin.
Next up we have Amazing Spider-Man, the complete alien costume saga.
Jack would not stop talking about this book, and now I'm reading it as well. I haven't read this yet.
This new volume actually reprints all the major issues featuring Spider-Man in his black costume from 1984 to 1985. From 1984 to 1985. This includes the Marvel team-up issues, which were never reprinted until now.
Team-up issues? Is this a team-up issue?
Yep, there's team-up issues all over, including
there we go.
Including Captain Marvel, Daredevil, and so forth.
Because I just found the Daredevil one, but there's 2 volumes of this, 2 really fat volumes, so I'm excited to read this all. And my plan is to read both volumes before school starts up.
All right, good to know.
And yeah, this just looks fantastic. Spider-Man is one of my favorites, if not tied with Wolverine as my favorite Marvel character. I love the fact that they changed him up. This was before they constantly gave Spider-Man a new suit, so this was exciting. They played with this a lot. They tried to be experimental, and that's what I love when they try to make stuff experimental. Sometimes it can be a failure, but in comics, most of the time it's a success. And from the looks of it, and from Jack's praise of this book, it's going to be a success.
Yeah, the thing is, over the years, Spider-Man has returned to his black costume sometimes, not as the black costume being a Venom symbiote, but actually it being just a regular black costume. Black costume. Besides that, he's also used other costumes, which is spider armor, which did affect his mobility, but yet still allowed him to retain most of his agility and everything else. His electroshock. A costume actually prevented him from being shocked. Is electric proof. Shock proof suits, which actually heavy rubber and all. Then of course, when Ben Riley Parker, Spider-Man's clone, who was also known as Scarlet Spider, took over the reins of Spider-Man when Peter Parker was first married to Mary Jane. Yeah, he actually redesigned the costume, which actually gave it a little bit of punk look. Which I do like, of course. I never read any of Ben Riley's stories, but yeah, I do consider him an iconic character. I do wish that they would be brought back at least once in a while. There was a new Clone Saga recently in the year 2008 or 2009, but yet still, I do wish he would be integrated back into the main Marvel continuity.
I am really excited to read this and more Spider-Man sagas because I just haven't been reading enough Spider-Man lately, and I really just want to read more. I've been reading a lot of Ultimate Spider-Man for a while, but then I just stopped that for a while, so I want to get into more Spider-Man.
Yep.
And the last book I have is the only reason why I got this was because it's written by Alan Moore.
Albion.
It is all I know about it is. It's about a robot. That's it. Anything else you want to say?
frankly, I don't know exactly. Alan Moore has written a lot of stuff, and recently there is something else. There is something else. Spoiler alert! In the early 2000s, or late 2000s, I don't know exactly. Alan Moore actually proclaimed to everyone that I am not going to write another comic book anytime in the future. My career is pretty much over. I do want to move on to some new stuff, but frankly, it seems that Alan Moore's not going to quit any. But yet, still, I don't really believe that statement much. Eventually, Alan Moore probably will come back, but for the time being, he's just quitting his time because, frankly, he has worked on a lot of series. His Jack the Ripper epic From Hell from 1998, 98 or 99. He was the one who revitalized the comic book industry of Watchmen. Watchmen, and his work on such series such as is America's Best Comics line of Prothema and Tom Strong was a very good Promethea and Tom Strong were very good books.
Yeah, but before we, I don't know what we may just end this, but this art is fantastic. It like I said, goes down the middle, and really that's unless you have any other things you want to say, I'm done.
Me, I do have a lot of stuff to say, frankly. I do have to say pretty much the comic book industry is now bigger than ever. You're now expanding into so many new mediums, and frankly now it pretty much makes it possible now for almost anybody to create an instant hit in the comic book market, then get all these new tie-ins. So, frankly, just look at images of Viva Thieves. There's a proposed TV deal for that, and also a Prepare Panzerfest.
So, and they're also turning Chew into a animated movie. They're turning Wicked and the Divine into a TV show, which is my favorite ongoing comic. Oh my god, Wicked and the Divine is so good.
And also there's a lot of new stuff coming too. But Marvel's is going to be making Captain America 3 Civil War, which will include Spider-Man and Iron Man, of course. And
another thing from Image is that they're making an Outcast TV show, but unlike the other two that I talked about, it has a trailer, so it's official. It's coming next year, probably in around like March or something. So get looking forward to that.
And also for the. We'll be going off comics for a little while here. For all, pretty much for all you Star Wars fans out there, the new show, they out of Comic-Con San Diego. There was now a new reel out on the set showing you live footage from on the set of the Star Wars Episode 7.
Oh, that I have to watch that. I didn't know.
Yes, featuring the first looks of several new characters, several new costumes and design sets, plus best of all, and commentary by J.J. Abrams and several of the actors working on set.
And is that it?
But pretty much.
So, that has been our first episode of the podcast. So, tell us if you want more of this, and I really hope you guys want more of this because I really enjoyed making this episode. So, comment down below and tell us what you want us to talk about next, what you want us to read next. So, yeah, Jack, would you like to start the conclusion?
Pretty much, yes. Also, speaking of comments, if you like this episode and you probably want more, or you want to pitch a new idea for a series or top 10 or top 20 countdown, post it down in the comments section, and we'll post down in the comments section below.
All right. So anyway, I'm Mega Man Chief Fan, aka Graham,
and I'm Jackman. I'm Jackman 999, otherwise known as Jack.
And we'll see you later, guys.